The structure that I want to do today is I want to start with 2 cycles of light kasina with the flashlight. And then we're gonna do a short or like a section with Vipassana style, so kind of open awareness Vipassana investigation of the sensations in the body-mind. So just to kind of get into putting labels on things or observing things, just to kind of get familiar with whatever is happening here. And then we're going to go into the final part where we're going to pay more attention on the personhood aspect of whatever is being experienced here. So the investigation of the self, although the title may suggest, because there is the emptiness in the title, it may suggest that it's the technique itself, that it's non-dual. So this time I'm going to do it somewhere in between Vipassana and kind of non-dual investigation practice. So it's not a proper non-dual practice in that sense. You're probably already aware that the self, or what is called the self in the Buddhist psychology or Buddhist philosophy, can have many aspects. Today we're going to work with what you experience as, for example, that which has your name, or what you experience when you experience a sensation, for example, a thought. If there is some sense of possession of the thought, so that there is a person owning the thought, or a person thinking the thought, or some aspect of personality, so that type of thought could be conceived by that particular type of person. So, for example, that it's a feisty thought, and that there is an aspect of personality that is feisty, that makes the thought such. So we're going to be working with that at the end. So just kind of to lay out the path for this upcoming meditation. You should be able to see the light even with bright background, so it shouldn't really be necessary to darken your room. If you had a candle, it would still be possible to do it in bright light, but it would take a bit longer. But with the flashlight, it's pretty easy. And maybe I'll also explain why we're using the flashlight this time. I find that it's very easy to get very quick, stable concentration with kasina practices. And that's basically why. So the goal is to kind of just stabilize our perception so that we can hold sensations longer, so that we can kind of hold our object and then observe it until we find layers that we can observe deeper. So that's the goal. I just want to kind of maximize on how quickly we can get concentrated well. So this one is going to last for about 30 minutes. It's not absolutely required to be in your most comfortable posture, but if you are in a posture that might make you move a lot, or I don't know, if you feel itchy or something like that, then try at least for a moment to resist that. And if there is an impulse to do something, try and find who that is, or what it is that wants to do it. So you can also use these impulses and these appearances as your investigation object. So yeah, now we can begin. You can take your source of light. For me, that's my flashlight on the phone. So place it in front of your face, but usually LED flashes are pretty strong, so maybe tilt it at an angle. You will still get a very bright after image. So for me, I kind of do it like that, and then I don't even look directly in the light. You can kind of just look somewhere next to it. And already after a few seconds, when you close your eyes, you should have the after image of the light. And at first, so this is your main meditation object. And you can try to kind of in the background keep the sensations of the body and just try to allow the body to relax. With the exhalation, through a few breaths, try and just loosen up the tension in the body. Try also to not tense the eyes while you're looking behind the closed eyelids. It often helps to know that you actually don't need your eyes to look behind your eyelids. It's not only the eyes that are looking. And observe what's happening with the after image. You can observe what's happening around the edges, in the center. Its colors, vibrations. You might also notice that there is stuff happening around the dot. If it happens so that the dot is sliding to one side, you can try and look at the opposite corner of the dot. So chasing it towards that side won't help, but if you kind of catch it at the opposite corner, or just try and look at the center of your visual field and the dot will be there. Try to notice all the details that are presented here. Any movement of light. Changes in color. And once the after image fades completely, there is still something interesting, so to say, to see behind the eyelids. Then you can stay with that for a while. Or if you notice that maintaining attention on the visual field becomes difficult, you can take the flashlight and refresh by looking at it again. So if you haven't refreshed already, maybe do so now for the sake of this guidance. And then if you repeat this on your own, you can refresh however frequently or whenever you want. And now again, focus on the after image. Notice if perhaps some more detail is showing in the dot or around it. Try and catch as many appearances, as many changes. And if it helps to use a label to name a color or to name a shape or anything that's observed, you can do so. Try to notice if there's anything vibrating or undulating, moving in waves, any lines. Any kind of visual impression. And now through this visual impression in front of you, try and bring into your awareness the feeling of the body. You can observe the breath. Observe the sensations of sitting. Where the body touches itself. So the arms touching the sides. Perhaps your hands are laid on your lap. Just try and feel the body. Include in your awareness also the feeling of the mind. So anything that's perceived as the mental space. And may that be the space, the container for impressions and sensations to arise. And now just observe what's there. There's no need to control anything. There's no need to interrupt or change the thoughts or judge any kinds of feelings for being appropriate, inappropriate. Just observe whatever is there. And give it a label. And it can be a free label. You can name an emotion, or if words come difficult, then you can just say emotion or feeling. If there is a thought, just observe that there is a thought. If you observe any kind of co-arising, feel free to assign couples of labels or multiple labels. So just allow your attention to dynamically move around the space of the body-mind, and to just observe what's there. normally in this type of meditation, you might be invited to use very low, very unconceptualized labels. But for this purpose, it's okay to use any name. You can name a body part with its conceptual label. And if you ever notice that you forgot that you're meditating, just notice that, observe it, name it, and continue scanning. And if you notice any reactions to catching yourself wandering, you can also observe that. Now, when you observe a sensation or a cluster of sensations, try to notice if there's any impression of you in them, any form of personality expressed as mood or agent, doer, any form of you that is present in those sensations. And when you notice that, try and observe that closer. Try and find where it is. Where in that sensation is that form of personality located? And if you find it, try and look closer. What is it that gives that impression? And try and go to the very subtle level of sensations and looking for that. Until you see that there's nothing there. And then look again. Find another impression, another sensation carrying a part of personality. And look closely what exact part of it carries that personality and how, where. Go deeper and try and analyze the sensations that make up that feeling of personality. Until it's no longer experienced as personality, but just sensations. And whenever you reach the bottom of that investigation, where personhood is dispelled, take a step back, find another impression, and do the same. Try and find where exactly that impression is situated. Look closer and closer. And see what you find there. And if it still feels like some impression of personality, of a part of you, you need to look closer. What exact part of that cluster of sensations carries that impression? And again, if you catch yourself thinking about something else, just gently remember that there might be a person in there too. And try and find where. And if you notice that there's anybody looking, you can also try and find what gives that impression. That there is an attitude to that spectator, a desire to look, an inclination to move attention. Where is that located in the field of awareness? Where in the body-mind is that person exactly located? Look closer and closer. Notice if there is anybody happy or unhappy about this meditation or anything else for that matter. Try and notice who is satisfied or dissatisfied. And then try and find where that is located in the body-mind. What gives that impression? That there is somebody with that attitude. And again, if it still feels like there is somebody with that attitude, look closer in what aspect of the phenomenal field gives that impression. Where is it? Perhaps there is somebody there who is a good meditator or an average meditator, or who is this kind of person or that kind of person. Whatever impression comes up right now, just try and find where that is located. Where is that good meditator? And on your path of discovering, it may also be helpful to name what sensations are there when you look. And then look again and again. Now look who is leading the meditation while you're opening your eyes and while this meditation is coming to an end. Try and observe whether anybody emerges and how that feels. And where that feels. So gently open your eyes and observe what's happening. All right.